So what? So tell me. I have with me a great person in my car, Irene.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone. And she's talking. How was your trip in California?
It was wonderful. Actually, I went out to go see my son.
Yeah.
I have not seen him since the pandemic.
Yes.
Because he moved right before that.
Oh.
And yeah, it was a very good visit.
Yes.
You know, a lot of crying and a lot of fun.
Yes.
You know, like emotional.
Is he from Philadelphia?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes, but he went out to California to pursue some personal things.
Yes.
You know, it was the best place for him to be.
Oh.
Because he was going through some stuff. He needed some growth.
Right,
but he took me all around, and we did go to LA. I was really curious to see LA.
Yes.
I was really disappointed.
What happened? Good morning, and welcome to another episode of the Neoliberal Round podcast. Today is election day, where millions of Americans will take to the polls and vote in these midterm elections. Question: Does my vote even count? Driving Irene, traveling from LA, Philly to Deptford, New Jersey. That's the title of the episode today. The episode is quite powerful as I met up with a baby boomer, as I call it, Irene, at the Philadelphia airport, who was traveling from LA, returning home to Deptford, New Jersey. Irene is retired and had just visited her son in LA in this street vibe. Irene shares some poignant insights on LA, Philly, and Deptford, New Jersey, and how life and politics is changing in America today. In fact, although Irene resides in Deptford, she is originally from Philadelphia, but 10 years ago, she moved to Deptford, New Jersey. Now, Deptford is a quiet, clean, and relatively affluent neighborhood. Irene, who is also retired, shares how she had recently lost her husband to COVID towards the end of the pandemic. I think that's about 2021, and how it was a very sad and painful time for her and her family, as his passing was sudden. So this trip to LA was supposed to help provide catharsis and therapy as she continues to grapple with the love of her life's death. However, while the trip to LA was wonderful, she critiqued that it was also disappointing because some of the places she visited were depressing and scary compared to Beverly Hills, where Tyler Perry and Adele live, whose houses she also had the chance to visit. Moreover, she made an interesting recommendation to our political leaders and technocrats about how Philadelphia is changing, and that if only we could clean up the streets. You can't just spend all that money downtown or near the casinos, she says. Further, as we vote in America today for city, state, and some congressional leaders, she questions whether her vote counts for anything given all the deterioration and decay in certain places in America, and that so much money is spent on ads and campaigns, but that very little is being done to help depressed and vulnerable places. Now Irene retorts, does my vote even count? Does my vote even count? Does my vote even count? Nevertheless, she paused a bit, sighed, and said, I will vote. I will vote though, as it is important, in a way indicating that it was part of her civic duty. This episode with Irene was very insightful and refreshing, as it provided another perspective about life in America, especially in LA, Philly, and Deptford. LA, Philly, and Deptford, New Jersey, from the viewpoint of a retiree who is white, Caucasian, yet concerned about poor black and brown, vulnerable and poor communities Let me say that again. Yet concerned about poor, black and brown, vulnerable communities and cities, to the point that she is now questioning whether she should vote, considering the ineptitude of our leaders to do anything about these communities. So I invite you to listen to the episode. Listen to this conversation. It's about 20 minutes, I believe. Quite interesting and refreshing as we go to the polls and we think about electing leaders to continue leading our communities, our city, and our state. This is the Neoliberal Round Podcast. I'm Ronaldo McKenzie. We'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back to the episode. We will pick up from where we left off earlier with Irene talking about why she was disappointed or she left LA with mixed feelings. Here is Irene. The episode and the discussions I had with her promises to be very, very revealing and very powerful. And by the way, I'm not sure if she's a baby boomer. I might be wrong there. She's not necessarily retired. She currently works with she works with a friend of hers at who owns a jewelry store. So that is the correction that I had to level. But here is the powerful interview and discussions I had with this amazing woman earlier today on the Neoliberal Round Podcast.
Well, we were like in downtown LA.
Yes.
It reminded me of Philadelphia, like Market Street.
Yes.
You know, it was. I was not impressed.
Yeah.
There was a lot of homelessness there. Like
wow.
They were like laying on the side of the overpasses.
Yes.
In tents. There was one on the beach, a few people. But my son said, and it made sense. He said, "Mom, it's not like back at home because these people live in a good climate.
Yeah.
They don't have the elements, and
right.
they don't want to go inside.
Oh.
It's not like people aren't helping them to try to get them off the street.
Yes.
It's like easier for them to stay outside."
Right.
Go to the gym to take the shower.
Yes.
And
that's in LA.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Is it there's a place in Philadelphia called Kensington? Is it like Kensington? I don't know if you know Kensington.
It could probably feel like that, like Market Street. I would say.
Yes.
It just wasn't like. I was a disappointment.
Wow.
But then, we took the tour bus to show me, Beverly Hills, and of course, that's all fabulous.
Yes.
You see, Tyler Perry's house, and You know, all the stars, Adele. It was like wonderful.
Yes.
And Rodeo Drive. You know, nobody's walking around with shopping bags, but you know, all that was good. But I was disappointed. But he said like there's different sides of LA. There's like East LA, West LA, whatever.
Yes.
But it was just good to be there to see it.
But I understand that, you know, LA is also one of those cities with high crime and violence. You know, Detroit, LA, Philadelphia.
I was a little concerned walking down the street and it was like 1 in the afternoon.
Oh.
I mean, you could just, like the rule. Like a lot of like, you know, like.
Oh, and weed is, marijuana or weed is legal there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like you can go to the store, it's like a shopping store, and just like buy it. Like they take your, you know, your registration, so your ID to. Impressive. Yeah, but anyway, like in LA, like they're walking down the street, they're smoking weed.
Yes.
You're seeing hookers.
Yes.
It's
and you're not used to that.
And it seemed like really like dirty.
Right.
Like you will. There, it just felt like it wasn't clean.
Wow.
Yeah, it was very disappointing.
Wow. So they need to do something with LA then, man. They need to, unless...
Yeah, and like tomorrow's the elections.
Oh, what is it like? What's going on with the elections in LA? Want to talk about it?
I think, well, I know they love Nancy Pelosi.
Yes.
So,
and she's the
Speaker of the House.
Is she running again?
No, but they just love her.
Okay.
Because she's from there.
Right.
So I think that part of it, like Southern California is more Republican.
Yes.
And like San Francisco and North, they're more Democrat.
Yes.
But like I think in any state, there's like, you know, Democrat, Republican.
Right.
But and then, you know, you see all the issues.
Yes.
It's just terrible. The way
you know, they tell you to vote election
vote
time.
For what?
But then people's life, the experiences, it's just, and you don't see all of this ad and they're spending all this money, and then you go to these cities and places and it's so depressing as you know.
Right, like I went on a beautiful vacation and it was like a little like gross.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, like these politicians, and then, I mean, it was a terrible thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, you hear like Nancy Pelosi, what happened to her husband.
Yes.
Okay. And I'm thinking like, wow, like she lives out here in this great state of California.
Yes.
And, you know, and Democrats, they want to win. Republicans want to win.
Yes.
But I don't know. You know, you should vote. It's our right to vote.
Yes.
You have to vote.
Yeah.
But then it makes you feel like, does my vote even count?
Wow.
Because after we vote, you know, it takes like 10 days, 2 weeks to get all the ballots in.
Yeah.
Because there's always like that margin where they have to recount everything.
Yes.
You know, it's frustrating.
And you're from Philadelphia.
Yes.
How different is, and you I know you live in Jersey now, but do you visit Philadelphia still?
Oh yeah. Like all my family's in Philadelphia.
Okay. How has Philadelphia changed? And which part of Philly are you from?
Well, I'm from South Philly.
Okay.
Like closer, like to like, you know, like the stadiums.
Yes, I know that very. I used to live on Vernon Street some years ago when I was at
okay.
Penn. Yes.
So you know.
Yes.
But I've seen like the neighborhoods, like the little pockets of the neighborhoods in there really change. Really get dirty. You know, like you know, drugs.
Yes.
Crime. Just the house is like deteriorating. It's sad.
Wow.
It really is sad.
Yes.
And you know. So I moved to Jersey like only 10 years ago.
Right.
But when I moved to New Jersey, it was like, oh, I like Philadelphia. Like I love a city. The city has a vibe. It has
so you
energy.
miss the city. So you moved because of the things were changing and deteriorating.
Right.
Okay.
For that, like, it wasn't until the last 2 years. I don't want to say I felt ashamed of where, you know, I came from, Philadelphia, but I felt like really like you feel a little embarrassed because like Philly is like one of the highest. I think it's number one for crime.
Yes.
I mean, it's worse than Chicago, Detroit. It's right up there.
It's right up there. Yes.
Right, and
yes.
I live in Jersey. Back in the day, you lived next to Camden. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
Camden's nothing compared to Philly.
Yes.
You know, and I think I like Governor Murphy. I think he's good, but I don't really know like the mayor. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes. You're not. Are you going to be voting in New Jersey or Philly?
I have to vote in New Jersey because
Okay.
that's where I live.
Right.
You know?
And do you know who are the candidates on that side?
Not really, because it's sad to say I follow the Philly candidates because my family's from Philly.
Yes.
And that's
yes.
who we talk about. And that's who, like, I know. Like, I don't know these people.
Right.
But I know I need to get to know them. Like, I live in the state.
Now, you said that you wish you didn't go to Deptford, Jersey. You wish you had stayed in Philadelphia?
The only thing I regret, like, in Jersey is you don't have, like, you're not very familiar because you weren't born and raised.
Right.
But there's crime anywhere.
Yes.
But I think a lot with the city is they have to clean up their streets.
Yes.
You can't just pull all that money down where the sports complex is and those big beautiful homes that they're building. Downhill after that.
Yeah.
Then his organs were shut down, and it was like such a roller coaster. He was feeling good, he wasn't. He was going up, he was going down.
Oh, wow.
And I hate to say this, but I had the privilege and opportunity to be with my husband in the last 2 days of his life.
Yes.
There were people who could not say goodbye to their loved ones when this pandemic happened in the beginning. I couldn't imagine how heartbreaking it was for them.
Yes.
I got to say goodbye over a phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank God every day, and I pray for people that didn't have that opportunity.
Yeah.
But I was able to be there and hold his hand.
Yes.
I'm
so sorry to hear about that.
Thank you, I appreciate that. But
so how has life been now that since he's passed and so on? What have you been now? How have you been getting by? How have you been doing?
I'm working now with my girlfriend. She's a jeweler in Westchester.
Nice.
So
nice.
I run her jewelry business for her.
Yes.
And I had a lot of counseling.
Yes.
And actually, 6 months after I lost my husband, I broke my humerus.
Oh, wow.
Because my one son came home.
Yeah.
He spent some time with me. And we were coming home from dinner and I tripped over my own 2 feet.
Yes.
And that pain was the worst pain ever in my life. It was horrific. And so I had the physical pain, the emotional pain.
Oh, yes.
I was in therapy, like for my heart, for my arm. I was in therapy for about 9 months.
Yeah.
And it's helped. My arm is fine today.
Nice.
My heart is, my grief is softer.
Yes.
It will never go away. But I'm able to talk about it.
That's good. That's good.
You know,
COVID, so many people went through, as you said, people went through so much during and after, and even people are still picking up the pieces after COVID, and people are, and then you see.
Because you lost so much.
Yes.
And I know people that the mother died and the daughter lived, and they were in the room next to each other. But the daughter didn't know her mother died until she came out of her coma after 3 months. I mean, I could tell you stories that were just, oh my God.
Yes.
What a time this world has went through,
Yes, and we're still dealing with stuff. And can you imagine for people, look what's going on in Russia with the Russian invasion. They have to deal with COVID and all, and then they're now left with this war.
The war, and it's freezing over there.
Yes.
And then, like, you say, oh my God, look how strong they are. They're fighting to save their country.
Yes.
And then we have to worry about Putin.
Yes.
And then you always feel like Donald Trump, agitated everything. And there's people that just love him.
Yes.
And,
which is quite... I don't mean to bring this up if you don't, but they've been talking about Kyrie Irving and what he said and so on. But I'm like, people have said so much in this country, and they're not being held accountable for
That's
it.
That's the problem.
Because
you have I want to say people from the street can run for office.
Yes.
No respect.
No, right.
And once after him, people are burnt out. They're turned off.
Yes. And you're right here, yeah?
And I am back here in Jersey.
Yes, you are back.
California.
And what is it? And it's beautiful here.
Oh, thank you.
And you love it in this community?
I like it in this community.
Yes. Oh.
I don't know. I think I love it in California. But I tell you, I love your car.
Oh, thank you.
I don't want to roll down your window.
I will. That was the Street Vibe interview and discussion that I had with Irene. And just some update on election day concerning midterm elections in Pennsylvania. News are coming in that about over 1 million, 1.1 or something like that, over 1 million votes were mailed in before the elections, before today. So over 1 million people have already voted in Pennsylvania. And we understand there are some ballots that are in question. Apparently, there are several ballots that are affected by date errors. There are some date error issues, and they are having to call these voters to have them come in to make the adjustments. But I'm understanding that they may not have time to fix all of this. That's why some people prefer to. And that is why, by the way, Irene says that, does my vote even count because of and she alludes to the whole issue of, this is one of the things she was alluding to. She was one of not just the fact that there are depressed communities, but she's also alluding to the fact that whether or not her vote really counts. Because here it is that in Philadelphia, about 3,400 ballots are affected by date errors. In Monroe County, in Pennsylvania, about 200 ballots affected by date errors. And in Allegheny County, over 1,000 ballots. So we're talking about, in Monroe, just 200, in Allegheny, 1,000. But as we know, depending on the outcome of the election, every vote is important. Every vote. So, and I understand that Fetterman will be is going to be launching some kind of lawsuit. But what if he wins? We're not sure what's happening. But it's looking close. But usually when we have a Democratic president, the Democrats don't usually do very well in midterm elections. And probably the converse is true, and which speaks about the balance that the founding fathers were hoping to achieve. But people are finding wiggle rooms about that now, even to invoking the Supreme Court into that. When as much as they were partisan, they were above that, and I don't know if they understand their role as justices. But we will have news later on this week concerning the midterm elections. This is actually my first time voting in the U.S. elections. In any U.S. elections, it will be my first time, and I'm actually getting ready to go to the polls. And I will let you know what it was like. But thank you for listening to this episode of the Neoliberal Realm podcast. Support us at www.anchor.fm, Anchor spelled ANCHOR.FM/the Neoliberal spelled THENEOLIBERAL.com. And of course, you can donate to us by visiting https:// www.anchor.fm/theneoliberal/support and visit us at theneoliberal.com and ronaldocmckenzie.com. Thank you so much for listening to the show. Share the show with your friends, and please send us a feedback. Walk good.